For government prosecutors, this was put plainly as a case about fraud. They said it was a story about a Silicon Valley founder and executive who had lied and cheated in order to raise money from investors and at the same time deceived customers and doctors about the capabilities of Theranos' technology and the service that they were offering through their laboratories. They said they had documentary evidence and records of conversations that Holmes had had that would show she knew that there were issues within the company, that she knew there were problems, not only with the company's technology, but some of the problems it was causing for customers. For example, false readings of pregnancy or of HIV from those that had used the blood testing services Theranos had provided. From the defense's point of view, they leaned very heavily on the idea that Holmes believed sincerely that Theranos was making progress, that it was working towards the goal of lowering the costs of lab testing, that she believed fully in the company's potential, and that just because the company had failed, that did not amount to a crime, although they did concede that along the way mistakes had been made and that Holmes was not qualified to lead the lab part of the business. She should have installed somebody who was sooner. They said the prosecutors were simply trying to vilify Holmes on the basis that her company had failed. One area that was less present throughout the presentations of the day in San Jose was the idea that Elizabeth Holmes had been subject to psychological abuse from one-time romantic partner and then COO and president of Theranos, Sunny Balwani. It was thought going into this trial that the defense may use that as a strategy and argue that because of that psychological abuse, it would not have been possible for Holmes to have the intent of misleading investors or customers because she was under the control of someone else. That is something that Sunny Balwani has already denied. This is a trial that will go on for weeks and weeks, as far as December. We know there are a number of witnesses, both that could be called by the prosecution and the defense. And it'll be interesting in particular to hear from some of those companies that at the time were talking with Theranos about using their services. Ed Ludlow, Bloomberg News, San Jose.